Greetings everyone, this is Jeff Wilkerson, Professor of Physics at Luther College, bringing you what to look for in the night sky, this time for the week of December 27th, 2021, our last what to look for in the night sky video of 2021. I hope you've had a good year following the night sky with us and look forward to what we have in 2022 ahead of us. So we'll start in the evening for this week of December 27th. And there's still a chance. A week or two ago, I tweeted out a picture of Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus in the evening sky, and there's still a chance to catch those, but we're going to lose Venus pretty rapidly. So you want to get outside in the evening sky just after dark, or even just as it's getting dark, to check out these three beautiful planets lined up more or less vertically now. As Venus is sinking toward the sun, you'll see these tilted a little bit relative to vertical. But we've got Venus is the lowest of these objects. I think it sets about an hour and a half after sunset right now. A lot of things that set within an hour and a half of sunset you can't see. That is, they're not bright enough. You're in the glow of the sun and they're hard to see. But Venus is big and bright, so you should be able to see it pretty well in the glow of the sun. The next object you come to up this direction is Saturn, at about the same distance now. Right now, the separation from Venus to Saturn is pretty close to the separation from Saturn to Jupiter. So Saturn's actually just a little bit below the line that connects Venus and Jupiter like this, but they form a pretty straight line up and down this direction, and you should have no trouble checking these out. So get out there this last week of 2021 and check out the planets in the evening sky and see how long you can see Venus. We like to do this, you know this. We like to have observing projects where you have a chance to observe something over a duration of time and see what happens. And so that's your observing project going forward, is how long can you see Venus in the glow of the evening sun, and then when will it pop out in the morning sky? And so that's a good project to be thinking about as we go forward into 2022, is to say, let's figure out how long we can see Venus and when it'll pop out. We've been tracking, if you've been following along with us, and I know you have, how could you not have been? If you've been following along with us, we've been tracking the motion of Jupiter and Saturn, and we've been using the star in Capricorn, Deneb al-Ghedi, the tail of the goat, Arabic, to measure that motion. When we started this, Jupiter was over here relative, so that Saturn to Deneb al-Ghedi to Jupiter made an acute angle. And then it went to a right angle, and now it's almost a straight line. Again, Deneb al-Ghedi is below the line that connects Saturn to Jupiter, so it's not quite a line, but it is. These things are more or less 180 degrees across here. This angle now is a very, very wide open angle. I'm going to guess it at 160 degrees. I don't know. I'm making that number up. But it's a big, wide open angle that Jupiter has separated out there. So if you get a chance to check out Deneb al-Ghedi, see where it is relative to the line that connects Jupiter and Saturn, and notice how that open that is. And hopefully you've had a chance to look at that over the last several months and see that angle open, 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 open. And you'll be able to see this in the evening sky for a little while going forward. We're gaining light in the evening sky in the evening, so we'll lose a little bit of time to observe this in the evening, but we should be pretty good going forward. So see if you can continue to track that. Can you continue to track what Jupiter and Saturn are doing relative to Deneb al-Ghedi? Get out, observe this in the evening sky, it's great. Yeah, in the morning sky, if you've been paying attention to some of the things, again, that maybe I've been tweeting out pictures of, we've been seeing a lot of Arcturus and Spica in the morning sky. And you might recall that the way we find these stars is, we'll say the handle of the Big Dipper will arc to Arcturus. We follow the curve down to Arcturus. And then if we keep going and keep following the path of that curve downward, this is not part of that diagram now, we keep following the path of that curve downward, we get to Spica. So we say we arc to Arcturus and we spin on down to Spica in Virgo. Arcturus is in the constellation Boades. Spica's here. So Spica, we think about Virgo as this sort of fairly bright star, Porrima right there, bright star Spica right there, and we think about this Y shape, martini glass, in the morning sky here. And Spica is the biggest, brightest star in the region. And in the early morning of say, I think it's the 28th, in the early morning, the moon will be, so it's the evening of the 27th. That's where it gets confusing. You go out the night before in the 27th, but in the morning of the 28th, the moon will be very close to Spica, and will make a pattern, an angle that looks almost a right angle with Spica and Porrima. So go out and check that out. I think it's within about 5 degrees of Spica. Porrima, while you're out there, if you've got a small telescope, see if you can split that into the binary star that it is. It's 2 stars. They're actually physically in orbit around each other. And I'm going to say 10 years ago, they were at closest approach. So they were really hard to split as a double star. You needed good magnification and a pretty big telescope to make that happen in a good sky. But it's been getting easier and easier and easier every year as you see the stars go from closest approach to opening up and getting that angle getting wider and wider and wider. And I think you might be able to do it with a small telescope. So if you've got a small telescope, go out and try to pull that double star. Check out Spica and the moon on the morning of the 28th. The moon will be about 1/3 full that morning. So that's Tuesday morning. And then watch the moon as it moves on to there. The night before, the moon will have been up this direction. So you can, if you get out on Monday morning, you'll be able to see the moon having moved from one night to the next as it moves down through there. Good observing, everybody. Hope you had a good 2021, and we'll have more for you in 2022.